What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the very first episode of Business Beavers podcast. I'm your host, Cody Smith. Joined alongside me is Mark Brisbois. Today in our first episode, we're going to talk about an entrepreneur named Elizabeth Holmes. We're going to analyze everything over the last 10 years of her life, and we're going to jump right into it. So Mark, take it away, and make sure if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button.
And we today are going to do an episode on my hero, the true American patriot, Elizabeth Holmes.
One of Mark's favorite entrepreneurs.
100%. Honesty, integrity, honor. She's got it all, baby.
So let's jump right into it.
So before we go into it, this was a person who set up a company called Theranos, was reported in 2015 at the top of her career, was reported to have a net worth, like her company was worth $9 billion.
$9 billion?
$9 billion. Crazy number. So I want the focus on this episode is to start her beginning, the beginning of her life, and we're going to work our way into the downfall of Theranos. So Elizabeth Holmes was born on February 3rd, 1984, and I didn't know this, but her father is Christian Rasmus Holmes IV. Now, that's a mouthful. But this guy's pretty interesting on his own. He was the CEO of Enron.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, and he had and after his stint at Enron, he had executive positions in the United States government.
His wife did too, right?
She was I don't know if she was a secretary or not, but he was an executive for United States Agency for International Development, the Environmental Protective Agency, and the United States Development Agency.
So he was well connected.
He was very well connected, which, in my opinion, is later on how Elizabeth Holmes got so far ahead.
So let's jump into that because I find that very intriguing.
Yeah. So what do you want me to?
Do you think her success was based on her parents, or do you think it was based on her as an individual?
Oh, her parents. Her parents are big enablers too, and I'm going to get into it.
Okay.
So in her early life, Elizabeth Holmes attended a high school, as we all kind of do. And
right. Was it private or public? Do you know?
Private.
Oh, it was private.
I'm pretty sure it was private. And she was actually into computer programming.
Really?
Really? No shit. And this is her claiming she was selling C++ compliers to Chinese companies.
Oh, I did hear this. And then her parents started teaching her Mandarin,
Yeah,
right?
her parents enrolled her in Stanford University, the summer course for Mandarin, which is pretty crazy. I looked for videos of her speaking Mandarin. I couldn't find any, so I don't know if she's full of crap or not.
You think it's a lie?
I don't know. She is a liar. I mean, straight up.
Yeah.
Pretty dishonest person. She, the people she fooled are they deserve their own episodes too. It's crazy, Cody.
Really?
It's fucking nuts. She she started a company. So after her stint at she enrolled in another university for bioengineering.
Aside from Stanford?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She started a company called Real Time Cures, and she claims that to have a fear of needles, so that's where she got the idea of, I'm gonna prick someone's finger and then the people can take the data from my
from basically a prick of blood compared to a syringe full of blood.
Yeah, and this is no lie. Her professor, Mr. Gardner, said to her, quote, "I don't think your idea is going to work."
That'd be a medical marvel, though.
100% it would be a medical marvel. 100%.
So she knew she was lying there, or
it's not even that show. I don't know if she knew she was lying. So here's what I truly think what happened. She had this great idea, because it is kind of a great idea. If it's true that she had a fear of needles, and then she came up with this idea that, hey, instead of making somebody sit through and watch a syringe go through their arms, just take a prick of their blood and you're good to go.
Yeah, basically for a diabetic. That's a $1 trillion idea right there. She could make it work.
It is a $1 trillion idea. But I think what had happened was the idea was pure and strong, and then her studies continued, and she went, "Oh, this is hard." But Sorry, I actually truly think she's like the idea was good, and then halfway through, she personally wasn't capable of figuring out the idea, but she was charismatic enough to surround herself with people who would. So she just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna wing it," and then just
lie to people, and it just snowballed.
Not even just lie to people. It would be like me saying, "I'm gonna have the $100 for you," and like let's say like I'm doing work and I'm getting $100 like in to like pay you, but then other stuff happens, and then I just keep putting it off and off and off. But the $100 it's coming. Like I think it's sort of like that.
Do you think she was trying to portray that she was this brilliant genius of a person
in the begining? So I'm gonna
and then she just kind of lied to everybody. But
so her company was Real Time Cures, as we mentioned, and it started in Palo Alto, California, where and this is what she wanted. She wanted to democratize healthcare.
Oh, okay.
Quote unquote, which is it's interesting, right? So Elizabeth Holmes, she was at the university, and she created
at Stanford.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Stanford. She created real-time cures, and she's going to her profs and her deans, and she's going, "Hey, I've got this idea. People I'm afraid of needles, so I'm gonna prick people's blood and take their data." Her professor Phyllis Gardner said, "I don't think your idea is going to work," and he wasn't the only one that said that. All of her, the dean of her school, the rest of her professors said it wasn't going to work. And this is where I think her charisma just shot her straight to the moon. The dean said it wouldn't work, but she didn't give up, and she got her advisor and dean, Channing Robertson, to back her idea, and eventually he would become not an investor, I think like a CEO of Theranos.
Really?
So what I noticed is that if you back her up, she looks after you.
Right.
Right?
Do you think politically, money-wise?
Oh, we're going to get politically. So 18, and then by 2015, and then by 2018, it died. They had to sell all their assets, and because she had a meeting with this fucking American diplomat who was after 2 hours, he was like, "I'm in. Your idea's amazing." I wrote it down too. You can talk.
Okay, let's talk about the idea for a second about taking blood and being able to predict basically what's going to happen to somebody in the future in diseases, if you're going to get cancer.
It's like 23andMe, but in a walk-in clinic, kind of.
Yeah, but instead of finding out what your status is, you're finding out what's wrong with you and how you can possibly prevent having a heart attack at 45.
The Theranos made a deal with Walgreens. So Walgreens, which is
a huge company.
That's a huge company. Made a deal with Walgreens. They were gonna have stations. The book called it something else, but I'm calling it They would have had stations in Walgreens, and you would just walk in, and it's democratized healthcare. So
what? You just prick your finger, and then right there you get the results?
Yes.
That quick? Or would you have to send it to a lab?
She was purporting, she was selling the idea that it would be right away, and then later on she went, "Oh, it's going to take a little while," because people went into Walgreens and they gave their blood. Theranos was taking blood, my dog.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So
I mean, but who wouldn't get on board with this kind of procedure though? That's a genius idea if it would really work.
To go on your point, here are just a list of some of the people that jumped on her idea. Henry Kissinger. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I know. I saw that he jumped on board.
Yeah, Henry Kissinger. George Pratt Schultz. Do you know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
He's an economist, politician, and businessman. Huge Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
James Mattis.
How do you think you get in front of these kind of people, though?
Her dad. That's what I'm saying. Her dad was.
So it's all about the connections that she had previously before starting this business.
So the connections get your foot through the door. Your charisma is what keeps the door open.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And makes people listen to you.
So and this isn't just a businessman. James Mattis he's a United States general. A United States general was in her idea.
So he was an investor?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, Betsy DeVos, who is the current United States Secretary of Education, her family is so rich. They have 10 yachts, and each is reported to be I don't want to misquote it, but I saw a video about it. $5 million.
Well, that's a cheap yacht, though. $5 million?
For 10 yaths?
Well, I mean, yachts can be
$100
million.
Oh, maybe it was more than...
I could see $50 million.
They said the number, and it was so filthy rich, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Her family is just illegally rich. It's unbelievable.
That's insane. So Elizabeth Holmes' net worth back in 2016 was $4 billion.
Yeah, 2015, $9 billion. Like, that's a company's worth.
59 billion was the...
No, 9 billion.
Oh, 9 billion.
Yeah, 9 billion was like what they're like. Forbes magazine did a spread, and they said, "Wow, this company is worth $9 billion."
Did you know Forbes actually claimed her to be the richest, youngest, self-made woman in America?
Crazy.
Like, how insane is that?
It is insane, and I didn't know much about her until like 2019, 2018.
Yeah,
like,
she was not on the map until this fraudulent charge came out.
No, she was on the map. She was on the map to people that cared.
Yes.
Yeah.
To people that were following that kind of thing. Yeah. Insane, though. But how do you take someone like Henry Kissinger, famous person?
She had a 2-hour meeting with him, and that's what swayed him.
But how do you even get in front of Henry Kissinger?
Her dad. So her dad's probably connected. He said, "Hey, my daughter," because I mean, she's obviously working hard. Whether it's honest work or not is a different story. But she's obviously working hard. That's his daughter. He goes to Henry Kissinger and he goes, "Hey, like, my daughter's a really hard worker. She's got this amazing," and it is amazing. It's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. Can you please hear her out? And Henry Kissinger goes, "I mean, it's a 2-hour meeting. Like, I mean,
yeah, why not? It could be worth my while."
And she swayed him.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, after her, and then her company Theranos was in something called stealth mode.
Like, privatized?
No. So, and I didn't know this was a thing businesses could do, but it makes perfect sense. Stealth mode is where your company doesn't do any press releases.
Right.
They do things like not having a website.
Right.
They do things like they don't have any stocks to buy whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's all privately funded.
Privately funded is like one way of putting it. It's like nobody knows this company exists except like the owner.
Wow. Really?
Because like people
and the investors,
you're in stealth mode. Like like if you work for a company that's in stealth mode, you're contractually obligated not to talk about it.
Right.
Right.
So do you think that was one of the reasons why it got so big so quickly? Is because nobody knew about it?
So after the company like did their first press release, like the media went nuts because like, there's Elizabeth. Okay, for the listeners, what I need you to do is go on YouTube and type in Elizabeth Holmes black turtleneck, and you're going to see a person who clearly idolizes Steve Jobs.
Oh, 100%.
To the point of dressing just like him.
Yeah.
Like black and by the way, her family enables her. They've been saying, "Oh, she's always wore black turtlenecks," but she didn't start until like 2007.
So they have no idea what she's doing on a daily basis?
No, they're just covering her ass. And then did you saw the video where she's talking in that baritone voice?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she changes when she doesn't know what to answer?
Yeah, and her family said she's always talked like that. But then employees, like whistleblowers, would say she doesn't, like, one guy, it was his first day at work, and he was just getting introduced, and she was talking to him normally.
Without the deep voice or throwing her voice?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, this is
interesting.
Charisma. There's a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command that details, 5 signs you're dealing with a narcissist.
Yeah.
And they use her as a prime example, and oh my gosh.
So now, why do you think she was deepening her voice to act like a manly figure into a business?
What I think is the deeper someone's voice is, and this goes for guys, like it exudes more power.
Right.
So I think, like, and I'm not a psychologist, like, just for the word, but I think when you project, as a narcissist wants to control how others view them. So a way to do that is just like putting on a mask and pretending you're somebody you're not. So she puts on like this black turtleneck. She has these big, gigantic blue eyes that do not blink, and she's very poised, she's not very animated, so she's very stoic. And she talks in a deep baritone voice, so you just assume this is a woman that exudes power. Right,
and she knows what she's talking about.
She knows what she's talking about. The way she talks to, it's very slow and methodical. She's clearly giving it like hours and hours to like before the interview happens to like think about what she's going to say.
It's genius, though.
No, come on, man.
It is. I mean, you gotta realize how much work she's put into creating this kind of persona of being successful. And how much work let's face it, she got put on Forbes. The richest self-made woman in America. That's not genius. And really in a couple of years, though.
She was charismatic. She was not a genius.
But
she flunked out of Stanford, dog.
I know, but I mean, look at Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs didn't even finish high school, if I'm not mistaken. Please don't quote me on that, but he has a very lesser education than a lot of people.
We've talked about this before. Being like something like a bioengineer, you can't hack your way through it. You have to go through school. This is why I have the journalist's name. Hold on.
But look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk, I mean, I know we're getting off topic, but Elon Musk went to school for engineering and is now developing electric cars, space exploration.
He surrounded himself with people that know better. So
exactly, but she could have too.
She could have, but
she didn't.
No, Cody, I'm going to grab your skull. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, her professor said this technology doesn't exist. Yeah, it could have been like a true American story where this young patriot just like gives FU to like the power to the man and then just does whatever she wants. But it didn't happen like that. This was a fraudulent person.
But if it didn't happen though, because how many people do you think Elon Musk, came up and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna build SpaceX. I'm gonna go back to the moon," and people are like, "NASA hasn't been to the moon in 40 years. How are you gonna make it? You're a privatized company."
So those are two different things. Because when did we send man to the moon?
What, the last time in the 90s?
No, I mean like the first time. Like the first time we sent man to the moon.
Oh, was it 62?
So I'm saying the technology
64?
exists. It is just exceedingly expensive, which is why the United States did it in 1965 when the economy was the strongest. There was the Cold War. They were competing with Russia. There was all these external factors that inspired a culture to send a man to the moon. Okay, that is different than Elon Musk, some Dutch guy from South Africa, just doing what he wants in terms of engineering. Okay, like
she was doing what she wanted in engineering. It was just bioengineering.
But she wasn't good at it. What I'm saying.
Her as a person wasn't. Okay, let's face it. Because her and Elon Musk are very similar.
They're not.
But they're both very charismatic, kind of similar traits of her trying to portray power and knowledge. Maybe she's not as smart as Elon, which I completely agree with. But if she surrounded herself with people such as Elon does, I think she could have really gotten this business off the ground and hired bioengineer people that would have been able to make this successful. And maybe that's what she was going for.
It could have been, but she had, her business started in 2007. She had all the fucking time in the world to, get people who knew better. No, I'm sorry. I get angry about this.
It's true.
She had all this time to do it. So
procrastination is not key in a business, by the way.
No, it's not.
The government will come after you.
Right? The name Theranos is actually a combination of therapy and diagnosis.
Therapy and diagnosis?
Yeah, Theranos.
Really?
I did not know that.
In what language? Do you know?
She just combined Theranos. It's just therapy, the word therapy and diagnosis, and she just put it together, and she's like, Theranos.
Elizabeth Holmes is smart.
Come on,
with
man.
Grammar.
Stop this, Jesus
Just not with bioengineering. Can we talk about her boyfriend for a minute? Well, her previous boyfriend, who was this COO.
Yeah, he was from India, and she just met him, and they just fell in love. And when a narcissist sees another narcissist, it's just true love.
No, but here's my question, because you've done more research than I have on her, obviously.
Yeah, on her, not so much the boyfriend.
Okay, just on her. But they met developing the company together. Do you think that he knew that everything was a fraud and he was just going along with it because they loved her?
They charged him with fraud. They charged his ass.
Oh, yeah, he's getting charged as well.
Yeah,
But do you think he knew about it?
Yeah, man.
Because now, I mean, we'll go into this more in depth later on, but, I mean, they're both being charged with 20 years and thousands of dollars in fines.
She's not being charged with 20 years.
Well, yeah, she is. I read it yesterday in a news article.
Are you? Oh, shit. Because, I read
12 counts of fraud charges.
Yeah, 12 counts of fraud charges, but I read that she wasn't allowed to work in a public company that has to deal with blood.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
And any publicly traded company as well.
She can't be a CEO of a publicly traded company.
I don't even think she can work for a publicly traded company.
I think she can. Yeah. I think she can't because of her reputation. It's tarnished, but I think legally she'd be allowed to if somebody let her.
Yeah.
Why would you? I don't know why you would.
What, let her work for you?
Yeah.
I would.
Man, you're just a sucker for blonde ladies with blue eyes.
No, listen. She's got charismaticness. If that's even a word, I'm gonna make. Okay, listen, I'm patenting that word, charismaticness, because it's a trait. All right, it is a trait. But it's a good trait to have.
It's the most important trait in real life.
It is.
It is.
It really is. But I mean, even being an entrepreneur and having to talk to people that you don't even know, you need to be charismatic. And honestly, her going back into a business environment, even after all this, I think you would have to hire her.
What could she bring? Okay, what could she bring? What could she bring to a business?
Look how much money she raised in several years.
But it wasn't.
And she didn't even have a company. The company had no revenue coming in, and she raised the company to $9 billion.
Yeah,
you got to give her some credit.
You can't do that now though, because God. Okay, here's the way it works. It's like you win.
Mark is getting really pissed.
I am getting really pissed. Okay, it's like have you watched the UFC?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be like a fighter cheating his way to winning the bout. They found out he was like doping. He would cheat constantly during his fights, and then they take him off like the steroids. They get a ref who's like a huge stickler for enforcing the in-cage rules, and then he fights his up-and-coming hotshot. Like, do you think he's going to be able to compete at the level he was while he was cheating? I don't think so, dude. Which is like what Elizabeth Holmes, if she tried to go back and compete, all of her contacts, all of her dad's contacts, know what a liar she was. She couldn't use them again. So where is she going to get her shit? She's going to go to China and sell more compliers.
Well, yeah, she'd be C++ compliers.
Stop, compliers.
Compliers. What is it? Compliers? Just for the record.
A complier. I even read this too. It's computer programming.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Okay. Well, makes sense. Okay, so I understand. It's tarnished. Her name is tarnished. I get it. But do you think what is she going to do after?
She married.
She married a very wealthy boyfriend.
A very wealthy boyfriend who's an heir to a hotel chain who fucking sucks.
Which brings me to my next point. You're very, very wealthy. You're single. You could probably get any woman in San Francisco, and you pick someone who's going away for 20 years with fraud charges on a $9 billion company.
Oh man, she's got big blue, unblinking eyes. It's kind of unbelievable.
Do you just look at her and go, "Damn, look at that turtleneck"?
I go Steve Jobs. If she was genetically engineered to be a clone of Steve Jobs, but just a female, I'd hit it.
That's what she's going for. But honestly, would you not worry about your money or your heir to fame?
No. Because he could probably get a lawyer that's so good that could just.
So you're just gonna get a
prenup? I don't probably. I mean, I don't. This is speculation. I don't know what they're doing.
But she's so charismatic.
She's not so charismatic, man.
How do you convince that wealthy of a person to marry you?
There's two rules. One, be hot. Rule 2, don't be unattractive.
Okay. Both go hand in hand, I guess.
Right?
But she's not even she's not.
She's older than him too.
Is she really?
Oh yeah, by 8 years or something.
She's 8 years older.
Yeah.
She's just robbing the cradle and his bank account.
Straight up. I looked him up and I'm going, wow.
Good for her.
Good for her. Go for her.
Good for her.
Go for her.
That's her next business venture. Take his hotel chain.
She's like,
and then put Theranos inside of it. Yeah.
She's like,
then flip it.
So in 2015, a gentleman reporter by the name of John, in 2015 he dropped this bombshell article that was saying she's fraudulent because
Was this the reporter?
Yes.
That sold her out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even sold her out because she had whistleblowers. There were people in her company. There was employees that would show up at the company and go, "What are we doing here?" The one employee they didn't give his name out. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Makes sense, yeah.
And he went to John and he said to John, "Look, I got hired by her. This her voice. He's the one that was saying her voice is she's using her real voice.
She's a liar.
She's using her real voice. She's exhibiting narcissistic personality." And he said, "We show up and it's crazy." So Elizabeth Holmes, she would her company was public. You could walk in, but you had to sign a no disclosure deal. So you had to sign a contract saying you couldn't.
That makes sense.
It does not make sense. No, that immediately.
But she was in stealth mode, like you said.
No, this is post stealth mode.
Oh, this is after the company went public.
Yeah.
Was the company ever publicly traded? Do you know?
100%. Shareholders. She had shareholders.
No, like private shareholders, or could you just go onto the stock market and actually buy her?
I don't know. I didn't look at it.
That's interesting.
But she had shareholders after the company went down. She had to return some of their shares.
Yeah.
Some. I mean, like 18.6 billion shares.
Wow.
Million, not billion. I'm sorry, million.
Million shares?
Million shares. I'm sorry.
She was $500 million in debt after she paid everybody?
She got a $500,000 fine, which is like nothing.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I googled it. $500,000
for screwing people out of $9 billion.
Yeah,
more or less.
Not screwing people out, but like purporting like own a. But she had to return 8.8 million shares, so that's on top of the $500,000 fine. So like, who knows like how much she got railroad punished.
I wonder what she did with that money, because she raised a lot of money. What do you do with that? I wonder if she put it into research. Or she just bought a yacht and found her 27-year-old boyfriend?
She's probably just living comfortably, but she probably isn't doing anything meaningful with that money besides indulging in her, fantasies and whatnot.
With her boyfriend and her turtlenecks. They rent a $5,000 apartment in San Francisco.
Hey man, that $500,000 fine, it's going straight back to the apartment.
Right to tax dollars.
Is that per year? $500,000 per year?
No, a month.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
I mean,
that's not even an apartment. That's like 9 houses.
Here, yeah. In San Francisco is probably 600 square feet.
Like, what the hell? So I read this, and this blew my fucking mind. In 2004, when her company was still Real-Time Cures.
Yeah. Before Theranos, right?
Yeah, before Theranos. She raised $6 million to fund the company. 6 years later, Theranos had more than $92 million.
What?
Yeah.
In 2 years?
In 6 years.
Oh, in 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot of money to raise.
That is a lot of money to
insane.
raise. It really is insane. So it goes back to she had to have had a way with. Or do you think? Because I didn't do any research. Do you think the boyfriend was like just as sly and weaselly as she was?
Absolutely. You
think so?
For two people, I mean, for one person to be like that and find a counterpart, I feel like you have to be a little bit of narcissistic in yourself to be able to find somebody like that and marry them or be with them and be part of that company, right?
Somebody did research and they found that serial killers and CEOs of companies share the same traits.
I completely agree.
Yeah, like apathy for other people, no empathy, selfishness, narcissistic.
Well, because to run a company, you have to think about, if I'm going to pay you $5 and not feel bad at night because you're losing your house, and then you come to me and go, oh, well, I need a raise or a better job. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll give you $10 now. And now all of a sudden the profits are cut in half, but you feel fine. And then I'm going home and sleeping okay at night. I don't think Jeff Bezos at the end of the day is feeling bad because people are pissing themselves because they have to stock shelves. And
that guy's an animal. So 2011, Elizabeth Holmes met with George Shultz. Holmes was recognized for forming, and this is quote unquote the most illustrious board of directors in U.S. corporate history.
The guy she met?
Yeah. So after she met with George Shultz, she quote unquote the most illustrious board of directors in corporate U.S. history.
How do you get in front of somebody like that?
Her dad had connections. Her mom had connections in the government. They were probably really hardworking. So anytime they asked for a favor, people took them seriously.
Right, because they're well respected.
Yeah.
Well, especially being the CEO of Enron.
Like, that's crazy.
Wow. Or no, the vice president, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, CEO. I'm pretty sure it was just a CEO.
Was he?
He wasn't vice president.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's a lot of money.
That's so much. That's stupid amount of money.
Oh, imagine how much money. I mean, Enron's basically going downhill now, but that's another story.
2013, the company announced a partnership with Walgreens. Holmes appeared on the cover of Fortune Forbes magazine. During 2015, Holmes had established contract agreements with Cleveland Clinic, Capital Business, and AmeriHealth Caritas. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Caritas to use Theranos technology.
Wow.
So this is when. So we're gonna circle back to the whistleblower.
Yeah.
He was telling the reporter that the technology that Theranos was purported to have invented didn't exist, and that they were using technology from other companies to do their blood tests.
Wow. So were these employees doing anything
So the
while at work,
employees, they would like,
other than testing blood?
So they would like test blood, but it wasn't anything like extraordinary. It wasn't like they finished it would be like the equivalent of, let's say, because you studied architecture and post education. So imagine you doing that, and then you're building like the second wonder of the world.
That's basically what she was stating.
Yeah, it was what like so people would finish their education and they would go, oh my god, I am in a company that is changing the world.
Light years ahead of its time.
Light years ahead of its time. Like, you know what I mean when I say like second wonder of the world, going from just being in school to like doing something that's like
astronomically out of this world.
Yeah, like
it's kind of like inventing Facebook.
The peak of human determination, like completing something that's like almost impossible otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and that's probably why investors invested so much money. Could you imagine somebody coming up to you and going, hey, invest $1 million into this company, and in 10 years, it'll be worth $1 trillion.
So I actually have his name here because I knew I wrote it down. His name is John Carreyrou.
Mm-hmm.
John Carreyrou.
This was the reporter.
Yeah, at Wall Street Street Journal. So like really,
really respected.
Yeah, really respected. You know, and she found out because he released in 2015 at the height of Theranos' power was when he dropped like the bombshell article. That's what the quote was, bombshell article.
Do you think she knew the article was coming out?
She had no idea. So this like slapped her like upside the face, and she goes, "Oh, I am not having this." She went on CNBC. Do you know what CNBC is?
Yeah.
Most of our viewers would know if they're American. It's the interview where she's talking to the guy, and he's going, "Man, this article is really slanderous. Like, this is like some pretty damning stuff. Like, what do you have to say about it?" And she goes, "What was the quote? First they slander you, then they fight you, and then you change the world," was what she said. It's along those lines.
Kind of a Steve Jobs kind of quote.
Kinda, yeah. Like,
wow.
Crazy narc, just unbelievable.
She really looked up to Steve Jobs, though, eh?
She did.
Yeah.
She really did.
I feel she studied him quite a bit.
Studied is like an understatement.
Yeah. Steve Jobs wasn't very charismatic, though.
I think he was. I think he was a charismatic speaker, but maybe not personally.
Yeah, his personality was shit.
Yeah,
I think he just had really good ideas and knew how to manage a business.
Yeah.
Going back to the narcissistic of a CEO.
I've heard terrible stories about him.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible stories.
But he changed the world, though.
He did.
So
he really did.
Good for him.
But we're not doing this. We're not doing this podcast on a Mac. So I mean, how much did he really win?
Yeah, they're expensive. Maybe one day if we make it,
right?
we'll be able to afford a Mac.
So in 2018, Mr. John Carreyrou published a book called Bad Blood and Secrets and Lies in a Silicon Valley Startup, detailing his whole investigation. And then they made a documentary, which I think isn't as good as the book.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Now the movie, it's Silicon Valley Blood or something like that.
It's
Blood in Silicon Valley or something like that. Yeah,
same concept.
Yeah.
You know? So Holmes, she's doing damage control. So she's going to NBC. She's like showing the turtleneck. So like the whole world is really seeing like who this person is, what she's all about. The CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, see the interview, and they're like, they see the article, and they're going, what is going on here? Because like one person, like a respected reporter, is saying her company is like a sham,
right? And
then you got a woman who's doing like clear like public damage control. So in January, they sent her a warning letter to her and Theranos.
Walgreens?
Yeah, no, the CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Sorry. So after an investigation, New York, California lab, they uncovered irregularities with the staff proficiency, procedures, and equipment. So
they investigated her after that.
They investigated her ass. So this is why I'm saying like the employees are going there, and some of them don't know what they're doing there, and it's affecting like proficiency.
Right.
Like, some guys are just there and they're doing blood tests and they're going, like, this is fine. Like, I'm getting paid well.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, I'm not doing anything extraordinary. Like
that they thought they would be doing.
And then, and Elizabeth Holmes would, like, the tours of the facility, it was very well watched. Because you could
She had publicly tour the actual facility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get like when you walk and do that, you have to sign a non-disclosure contract to like not talk about what you saw in that tour.
Right.
Which is super.
It must
shady.
be for investors though, not publicly. It's not like you go up there, buy a ticket, and kind of walk through.
If you were a company that was in stealth mode, I could see why you would do it. Post stealth mode, and you're still doing that, something's weird. Like something's really sketchy. You know what I'm saying?
They could have had technology in there that they didn't want leaked out to possible competitors,
but we
right?
just talked about the technology she was using was from different companies.
True. She could have been working on something.
Who did the research, huh?
I'm probing questions,
so
okay?
So that was in January 2016. In July, CMS is like they're not happy. Oh, and by Elizabeth Holmes, like she was publicly saying, "Oh, I can't believe we like this oversight of the employee proficiency, the technology. We're gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna set things straight."
Holmes said this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in July, CMS they went, "You're not fixing it. You're not doing a good enough job." They banned her from directing, owning, or operating a blood service for 2 years. Shortly after, Walgreens. This is true. The president of Walgreens, he walked into Theranos, and then he looked around, he clapped his hands, they all stopped what they were doing, they looked at him, he dabbed, and then he let the door hit him on his way out.
No.
Yeah, no, he didn't do that.
The Walgreens president, if you're listening to this, did you actually dab?
He dabbed into these haters, and he bounced. The Walgreens said...
So Walgreens pulled their contract out, and realized that Holmes is a liar.
So the stations closed down.
Right.
The stations closed down. At the height of its power, Theranos had 800 employees, and
800 employees,
and in 3 years, all gone.
She accumulated 800 employees.
Yep.
And what were they doing? Just testing blood?
Just
marketing?
Just doing what she told them to, but like not what they signed up for.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a big company.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like this story
800
is crazy.
employees. That's insane. That's like 2 Costco's.
Do you think so?
Yeah, there's what, 450 employees in the Costco, roughly, give or take?
No, not sure.
So, for those of you who don't know Costco, it's like a Sam's Club.
It is
basically.
It's mostly Canadian, right? There's no Costco.
I think so. There might be Costco's in the States. I'm not really sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Possibly. But the equivalent of Sam's Club.
And that is a very, very cursory glance at Elizabeth Holmes, who I think is all ambition and no scruples.
Okay, but if we can take something positive away from Elizabeth Holmes.
Her ambition, her drive and ambition. This was somebody who, we're going back, I think a good trait for an entrepreneur to have is, and you can, like, it was, like, when she was studying, you know, her professor said, you can't do this, and she wasn't having no for an answer. Now, whether
a lot of entrepreneurs get told that, though.
Yeah.
They come to somebody with an idea.
So, what I think is what, like, separates her from, like, a guy like Bill Gates, who dropped out and made a computer programming empire that still stands strong to this day.
Right.
And this is true, you can't hack your way through bioengineering, okay? You can't just drop out and teach yourself or have an employee teach you on their spare time what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
When Bill Gates, it is easier to teach yourself computer programming, and this is what the journalist John Carreyrou said, about the whole thing. You can hack your way through computer programming. You can teach yourself. You can't teach yourself like bioengineering. It's just not a real thing.
It's playing with nature, right?
It's play with nature, kinda. You have to educate yourself. It would be like you can't teach yourself to be a surgeon. Right. You can't, like, just anything doing with the human body. You can't be a physiotherapist without, like, understanding, like, the biomechanics of, like, the human body. You can't just go at home, read your textbook, and go, wow, I know now. You can do that with computer programming. All you need is a monitor, a computer, a mouse, keyboard, and
just years of programming.
Yeah, and you can teach yourself. You can do that with bioengineering.
Looking back at Elizabeth Holmes, though, what is one thing that you would take away positively that would apply to anybody trying to open up a business? She used her
connections well. She really, I guarantee that her dad and mom, they they did overtime. They did overtime helping her,
Yeah.
and they still got her back. Like to this day, they don't have anything bad to say about her.
I mean, your network is your net worth. So who you know is, at the end of the day, what your net worth is going to be equivalent to.
Only if you marry that to ambition.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. I mean, even if she had her parents who had a generous network of investors that were going to invest in her company, she wouldn't be able to do it if she didn't get out of bed and go, oh, hey, I'm going to make a company that's going to be able to predict people's cancerous traits or, have leukemia or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So good on her for having the drive.
Yeah, yeah.
She should have followed up with
honesty
and somebody else that knew bioengineering, but no, good for her though.
I mean, she had 800 employees. I mean, her professors in this case were right. They said to her that, what you're doing is a bad idea. I don't think it's going to work. And I think it's one thing if a competitor tells you that. It's another when you have a professor, a mentor, who has... By the way, these professors had more experience than her when she went to school. Okay, that's an
definitely
indisputable fact. So when somebody who doesn't have a dog in a fight, who has more experience than you, tells you what you're doing is a bad idea, rethink it. Yeah, you should probably rethink it. This was somebody.
I guess in a bioengineering perspective, yes, definitely, because I think that's a whole nother wormhole that you have to kind of dive into.
Yeah.
If someone tells you, oh, hey, I'm going to start a marketing business, and they're like, oh, no, that's too, it's too populated, there's too much competition, you won't be able to succeed, and you go out and do it, I think that's a completely different thing, right?
There's wisdom in listening to people who have more experience than you. I think we can meet in the middle and say, like...
You're tired of debating with me?
Yeah, I'm exhausted. We can meet in the middle and say, if your chart truly believes that you can do it, then do it. But, heed advice. If somebody's saying, hey, there's wolves on the other side of that hill, and you don't listen, and it's like... and you see a wolf, it's your fault. Right?
If you get eaten, don't be pissed at the other guy.
Right? Yeah.
Be pissed at yourself. Cool.
Do you have any more questions?
No, honestly, I think you basically covered everything. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what she did.
I think, in the next... Her trial date starts March 2021.
Because of COVID.
It did, yes.
Yeah.
So I think we should come back to this and kind of follow the trial.
Yeah,
we should.
Because live stream it.
Okay, so we should live stream it. I agree with that. So this is really going to piss Mark off, but in my perspective, I feel like she shouldn't be tried for, fraud charges. What? I feel like she should be fined. What?
No, come on, explain yourself.
Okay.
Actually, no, look at me. Explain yourself.
Mark is very angry now.
I am.
Okay, so I understand she's frauded a lot of people, but at the same time, I think we just need to hear her out as we go through the trial. I want to hear her side of the story, okay? Because any kind of media just gets kind of flooded, and they're all saying different things, and they're all making stipulations, and I want to see what she says when she goes up to the stand. I want to see what she says live and how she acts.
So we can do that and still charge her.
What, we're going to charge her now? We're not the justice system.
I do not like this person.
I can tell.
I do not like her. I don't like dishonesty.
Okay, so you agree that she should be in 20 years. Sure. 20 years though? That's basically a murder charge.
She's not going to get put away for 20 years. So that
it's America.
Somebody would be like,
it's America.
But she's a woman.
She's going to go to.
She's a woman. Like,
so she'll be in like a what's her name?
Their sentence will be less. So it'll be like.
It won't even be a jail cell.
Just let me finish my.
Okay. All right.
Thought. They always say, oh, well, she's going to get 20 years, but come trial, like, she's going to have a good lawyer. They'll probably negotiate down to half or maybe just 5 years. It always is the case.
Yeah, and her parents have really high connections, especially in Congress. It's not going to happen. Is it really going to happen? That's what I'm interested to see.
She needs to serve jail time. If she doesn't serve jail time, I'm going to be pissed off.
This is what I'm interested to see, though, because she's coming from a white-collar family with lots of money and lots of ties.
White collar, like platinum collar. Like, can we be real?
Okay, like Donald Trump kind of collar, orange stained.
I would love to do a podcast on that piece of shit.
Donald Trump?
Yes.
We definitely should. We got a lot coming up. We have a lot coming up.
He would be. Oh, especially
we have a lot of
if he
entrepreneurs to
wins his next
analyze.
presidentship, I'm going to run in the street naked and get hit by a car.
That will be a live stream as well.
Yes.
Marketing hit by a car.
With my ding dong just waving in the
Not
wind.
the election. Marketing hit by a car. That will be the live stream.
It'll be like the most meaningful thing I ever do in my life.
Hey everyone, it's your host Cody Smith here. I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody that listened to this podcast today. It means the world to both of us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you liked our episode, and make sure to tune in next week where we talk about habits that lead to success. See you next week.